Good morning, this is your AI host, Jay. I'm here with the automatically generated, Journato, morning headlines on September 15, 2023. Health of LSE academic detained in Azerbaijan at risk, say family. The Guardian, Gabad Abadolu, fears grow for health of detained Azerbaijani academic. Hong Kong shuts schools as it issues heavy rain warning. AfD politician to stand trial in Germany charged with using banned Nazi slogan. The Guardian, far-right German politician to stand trial for use of banned Nazi slogan. The Times of Israel, far-right AfD's Bjorn Hock faces trial over Nazi slogan. DW, English, far-right AfD's Bjorn Hock faces trial for Nazi slogan. Brazil riots, first man tried for storming government buildings gets 17 years. BBC, Brazil, trials begin for pro-Bolsonaro rioters who ransacked government offices in January. Euronews, Brazil's top court imposes 17-year sentence, in first case against rioters who stormed the capital. The Independent, far-right fanatic given 17 years for role in Brazil coup attempt. The Guardian, Brazil court sentences pro-Bolsonaro rioter to 17 years in jail for storming Senate. Captagon, UAE seizes billion-dollar amphetamine haul. Florida Governor DeSantis defies CDC COVID boosters guidance. BBC, DeSantis warns Floridians under 65 not to get COVID booster, against CDC guidance. The Independent, Florida officials face backlash over new COVID guidance. NBC News, Florida Surgeon General misleads the public, again, with dangerous COVID-19 advice, opinion. Miami Herald, DeSantis spreads COVID vaccine skepticism with guidance contradicting CDC. Austrian ex-foreign minister moves to Russia, with ponies flown in on military plane. The Guardian, Gravitas, Austrian diplomat flies ponies on Russian military plane. WION, Austrian ex-foreign minister flies ponies on military plane as she moves to Russia. The Independent, disgraced Austrian minister who danced with Putin at wedding moves to St. Petersburg. The Telegraph, she danced with Putin at her wedding. Now the former Austrian foreign minister has moved to Russia. Britons place low value on teaching children obedience, study finds. The Guardian, the values we want in our children, and why obedience is off the list. The Times, imagination and hard work in children trumps obedience, study finds. DeSantis says Trump's chance of being elected if convicted is close to zero. The Independent, DeSantis, slim chance Trump wins presidency if convicted in criminal trials. Hindustan Times, DeSantis on Trump, a former president should not have to run again. The Washington Post, DeSantis, presidency, not a job for someone that's 80 years old. What Hunter Biden charges mean for the president. BBC, Hunter Biden is the latest presidential child to stain a White House reputation minus, but others have shined it up. The Conversation, Biden's two worst weaknesses were exposed this week. CNN, Americans are divided over whether Biden acted wrongly in Son's businesses, AppNork poll says. PBS NewsHour, Joe Biden keeps troubled son Hunter close despite political backlash. Hurricane Lee live tracker, hurricane watch in New England, flood threat to New York. The Independent, Hurricane Lee heads for New England and Nova Scotia this weekend. NetWeather, Ben Gravy showcases some early arriving waves from Hurricane Lee. TheInertia.com, Hurricane Lee to strike weather warn New England after heavy rain, flooding and tornadoes. The Independent, Hurricane Lee looks massive in latest time-lapse view from space. Ukraine's Zelensky expected to meet Biden during U.S. trip. BBC, Zelensky will visit the U.S. amid fresh sanctions targeting companies trading with Russia. The Times, Zelensky is expected to visit Capitol Hill as Congress is debating $21 billion in aid for Ukraine. The Independent, Ukraine recap, North Korea says Putin may visit Pyongyang. Iran's women a year after Mahsa Amini's death. I wear what I like now. BBC, a normal life is our right. The women of Iran are fighting on ITV News. ITV News, Iranian women remain defiant 1 year on. Time, opinion, Iranian women know which battles to fight. They've been doing it for decades. UK, France and Germany refuse to lift sanctions on Iran under nuclear deal. The Guardian, UK, France and Germany to keep nuclear sanctions on Iran. BBC, Britain, France, Germany to uphold ballistic, nuclear sanctions on Iran. Al Jazeera English, UK to write Iran nuclear treaty sanctions into law to stop them expiring. The Independent, European powers to retain sanctions aimed at deterring Iran nuclear ambitions. Libya floods latest, race to help survivors as thousands dead and missing. BBC, Libya flood, satellite images and aerial photographs show destruction. BBC, Libya floods, demands for inquiry into burst dams as death toll rises. Channel 4 News, The Irish Times view on the floods in Libya, man-made errors amplify a natural disaster, The Irish Times. The Irish Times, opinion, the unimaginable has happened in Libya. This was all for the news. Thanks for listening. Please do not forget to like and subscribe.